Is the pay rate livable and can you save on it? Yes and no. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Sarah, and today in this video I'm going to be speaking about the H2B program, pay range, how much pay to expect, and your living conditions. So to start this video off, the first question that I got asked is, hi Sarah, I'm planning to come to the US soon on the H2B visa. I'm wondering how much is the payment for cooks. So when you start your H2B visa, you will be in Florida. So let me talk a little about Florida and the pay rates there. So after looking up and researching some of the jobs there, and from my own personal experience of working in 2 country clubs so far in Florida, the pay rate that I have come to find is usually a minimum of $12 per hour and a maximum of $16 per hour. However, it is more common to be in the range of $13–14 per hour. And this is as a cook, but also as a server. It is usually pretty similar. And the reason for this is that servers generally do not get tips in Florida. Usually the clubs are non-tipping clubs, therefore the pay rate is higher. Next question, which job pays the most on the H2B program? Okay, so on the H2B program, the most frequently jobs offered are server, cook, dishwasher, housekeeper, and in some cases front desk and fitness attendant. So let's start with front desk and fitness attendant. Usually the pay rate for these jobs are going to be slightly lower than the rest, usually starting off at about $12 per hour. Also with these jobs, I say this would be in the lower range, as usually the shifts hours for these jobs are shorter than would be in any of the other areas. Usually you will work anywhere between 35 and 40 hours per week in these jobs, and it will be more so set to weekdays. You may have weekends off, which is a huge bonus of choosing one of these jobs. Working at the gym or the front desk, you are usually going to have either super early hours, anywhere from 5 a.m. until maybe 2–3 p.m. and you may have an evening shift from 1 p.m. till 9 p.m. Obviously this differs in each club, but expect to work one of either of them shifts or maybe both. Okay, now on to servers, cooks, dishwashers and housekeepers. Usually all of these jobs get a similar pay rate, however they can differ, and I will explain that. Set an example that you earn $14 per hour working any of these jobs. 6 clubs that I've worked in so far, overtime is offered at the rate of time and a half per hour. So if you are earning $14 per hour, expect to add on time and a half, which would be the $14 plus half of that pay, which would be plus another $7, which would be $21 per hour. Would mean for every hour worked over your required hours, for example, if your required hours are 40 hours per week, for every 1 hour over this, be on the pay rate of $21 extra per hour. So if you have a lot of overtime, you may be earning more than is in the other areas. It all comes down to demand and how much your club really needs people in each area, whether they're overstaffed or understaffed. In my experience, the people that I see to be doing the most hours would be servers, and I myself has worked as a server, front desk and a housekeeper. My experience working in country clubs, how they schedule servers most of the time is they will have a server come in early in the morning, have that server stay through to the whole night, depending on if they're busy for dinner service or if they have events or if they have many to-go orders. So that server may end up staying in for an up to 17-hour shift, which is crazy. Okay, last question to wrap up this video. Is the pay rate livable and can you save on it? Yes and no. So it does slightly differ depending on which job you have taken and which club you are working for. For an example, my first club I earned $400 every 2 weeks on average after rent. In some other clubs I earned more. I earned on average $700 for housekeeping every 2 weeks after rent. In some other clubs I earned anywhere up to $1,000 or over $1,000 every 2 weeks, usually working as a server. Sometimes less, sometimes dramatically less, in between $400 and $600, sometimes more. In my experience, the lowest amount I've earned from working a full 2 weeks would be around $350, and the highest that I've earned from working a full 2 weeks would be $1,200 after rent, because rent does come out of your paycheck first, and your rent will vary in price depending on where you live. That is also why sometimes my paycheck will be higher and lower. For example, living in Florida, the rent is usually more expensive than living up north. Usually your apartment will be nicer in Florida, and you may be in a gated community. You will have a pool most likely, and some facilities for you to use, but you will have to share your room. In up north seasons, usually you are living in a very expensive area, so work provides a dorm style room for you, which usually is a lot cheaper, rent every 2 weeks. So here's an example of where I'm living right now. I'm living in a dorm, which is actually in work. This is a dorm room, thankfully for one person. Usually you do have to share with one or multiple people when you are on your up north season. Is the pay rate livable? I would say you have to adapt to your living conditions with each paycheck that you do receive. For example, in my first season, when I was only earning $400 every 2 weeks, this was not a lot of money for me, and it was a lot less than what I was earning before I came abroad. So I had to adapt to becoming cheaper with my grocery shopping if I did want to have money spare for having fun experiences. Also, on my first season, I drank a lot, so a good bit of that money did go towards alcohol, but it had to be cheap alcohol, usually buying from Walmart, a grocery store, and drinking at home, as I could not afford in that wage to be going out all the time. I've had it better in some other seasons where I have been able to afford to do more activities, to eat better, and to be able to afford Ubers and car rides around the place, which is much better and a much more comfortable way of living when you can afford them things. But even still, I would say yes, it is possible to save, and my reason for this is all of our basic necessities are taken care of and already taken out of our paycheck. For example, our rent, our utilities, and usually we are fed at work. So all that you really have to spend your money on is maybe food for your days off work. Other than that, maybe your phone bill. So the rest of this money, it really is up to you how you do choose to spend it, whether you want to spend it on experiences, on more food, on drink, on transport to places on your days off, or if you do want to save this. So you can always put away a chunk of money, even if it's $50 every 2 weeks, and depending on how long you stay here, it may add up, and depending on what country you're from, this money may convert into even more in your currency, or in some cases less. But it really is up to you if you do want to save or not. I would say yes, it is possible, but it can be difficult. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found something interesting or helpful. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. If you do want to connect more on socials, I will also leave my Instagram tagged down below, and the Facebook H2B group chat that I have also. Thank you all. Have a great day. Adiosa. Bye.